So facing factor is really practical for curved elements. For instance, in here we have a kind of wall, and for example, this wall is a kind of big element in here. And of course, in mechanical structure, we might have it more. So these pipes, ducts, and many other elements in mechanical and electrical structures are curved. Navisworks will know every kind of element as a kind of triangle. I mean, a kind of three-side element, like this. Yes. And these triangles will cause the softness of the elements in here. If I, for example, click on NW on keyboard, and in this part, for example, the facing factor, please set it on 1. By default, it is on 1 or 2. Save export, and we'll wait that the exporting will be completed. After exporting, we'll just click on refresh in here. So you have to be careful that, for example, we have less meshings or triangles in here. Yes, right now. So let's return in here and let's set it on shaded, and this is it. So we will have a kind of, for example, and we'll have a kind of, for example, fragment. In mechanical structure is really practical. Why do I say that? You know, much time in mechanical structures it happens that, for example, we have two pipes next to each other, like this, and these two pipes are in touch with each other. I mean, for example, if we want to consider a kind of interference for them, they have interference in here. So during exporting, if the facing factor, for example, is on 1 or 2, the time that, for example, that it's gonna have exporting, maybe it just the software will consider it as a kind of, for example, fragment, not like this, a kind of polygon, like not like this, but for example, little distance. For example, something like it. Let me actually draw it in here. You know, it won't be curved. Yeah, it will be something like it. And maybe when it is on it, for example, we don't have any kind of interference in here. And the time of clashing, you will see that these two elements, they are resolved. And for example, for the software, of course, and it won't consider as a kind of interference. And maybe it's really bad for your work, for quality of your work. Yes. So when you're going to have export from Revit, actually, I'll suggest if you have curved elements in your project, just a moment, wait. Let's go in here and just let's see the walls in here. And if you have curved elements, the number of the facing factor is better to be between actually between 8 to 12, for example. If not, 1 or 2 is okay. Let's just set it on 10 in here. Okay. We'll wait that the exporting is done, and for example, the number of the fragments will be lower and will be softer because the number of triangles will be increased. You have to just consider that the file will be heavier for your work. So let's click and let's see. It will be like this. So it's really important for you during exporting with the NWC format from Revit to Navisworks is this. It is really important. So the next item in here is separate custom properties. We had talked about it. We'll activate it. The reason is if actually in Revit we have added some properties in Revit, for example, simulation, ML element, zoom, or URL things, for example, that you've added when you just click it in Navisworks. In here, we have a kind of tab in the name of custom. That all of those ones will be added in here. For example, if you have a kind of option in here, in this part, you will have it like this. So let's return again into here. The wall that we had drawn before it in here, let's delete it from here. NW. And the next item, first, this item is really helpful. Please activate it, and you have to be careful that after 2021 version, it got added in here. So the next one is in here, and we have it just in 2025 version. It's really interesting. So the time we can use it is we have used the section box. Let me just activate section box in here. Visibility window. here, section box. Let's activate it in here because it was hidden. And then let's just have a kind of section box in here. Let's just set it into here. If you pay attention carefully, some of these elements include sections in here. You see the blue parts. It means that, for example, they've been cut, for example, in here. So let's go in here and let's click NWC. By default, it's not like activated. I just inactivated that. For example, let's save it or export it in here. So let's minimize it in here, refresh. You know, if you pay attention carefully in here, like this, these elements got exported in here. So completely it got exported. So if I click NW in here and I activate, for example, in here, and after that, I will export it. We'll see that how it will be exported in here. So let's click on refresh, and just those, for example, elements that were in section, they will be exported. It's really interesting feature that, for example, in 2025, it could add it to the software. So let's inactivate the section box in here. We don't need it in here. It was really interesting for us. So we understood what this item is in here. The time that you're using section box, it will be practical for you. So the next one is try to find missing materials. That usually will just activate it if, for example, it's texture or material that has been used. For example, the time of exporting is not existing. It will try to replace it. So the next one is time properties on element. For example, those ones that are related to elements, we can just export them too. Let's activate this one. Okay, so and save. So like this, we can actually a kind of Revit model completely based on our need. For example, we can transfer it to Navisworks under the condition that all of these items completely are practiced by you, and you can understand that any of these items completely.